Fascinating scenario to round off Group B here in Cali after Peru's 1-0 victory against Mexico here earlier tonight. The situation is simple. Paraguay must win to qualify for the quarterfinals. Brazil need at least a draw to be certain of their place in the last 8. And I'm sure that all neutral followers of this tournament would dearly like to see the Brazilians qualify. This may be an under-strength Brazil squad, and even their first-choice team is currently suffering their worst form in living memory. But there's still a magic about the name Brazil, and any tournament would be the poorer for their absence. Of course, you can't expect any of their opponents to subscribe to that view, least of all Paraguay, who themselves need victory tonight to be certain of reaching the quarter-final for what would be the 5th Copa America in a row. Paraguay have so far been unpredictable, to say the least. They figured in the highest scoring game of the tournament, that 3-3 draw against Peru, and they've also figured in the only goalless draw when they played Mexico. Similarly, Brazil were pretty awful in their opener against Mexico, but at times brilliant when they beat Peru in their last game. So, Gerry Armstrong, this really makes the whole thing a very difficult game to predict.
It certainly does, and I think that man there, Scolari, was under loads of pressure. The performance in the last game was great, but they have to repeat it now. They have to prove it wasn't a fluke, and he'll be looking for his side to perform tonight, as will Paraguay. Paraguay, fantastic qualification so far in the World Cup, but this is a different league and it's a different side, but nonetheless it's a game they must win. They can't afford to draw the game, they can't afford to lose it. They must win this game, so there's an awful lot at stake, and I'm sure they'll give it everything they've got.
A good-sized crowd here in the Pascal Guerrero Stadium. It's the most southerly of all the venues for this Copa America. The referee tonight, incidentally, is the hard-line Argentine official Angel Sanchez, who sent off 2 players from Ecuador when they played Paraguay recently in a World Cup qualifier. So we're almost set to go, and Brazil, the reigning Copa America champions and finalists in each of the last 3 tournaments, face the distinct possibility of an embarrassing first-round exit here unless they get it right. For Paraguay, twice winners and 5 times finalists, the incentive is just as great, so everything's set for a classic here in Cali tonight. Reminder of the team news: Brazil for once unchanged, the same team that beat Peru 2-0 in their last match. Paraguay have made 3 changes: Canitha for the suspended Isasi in defence, Maringo returns after injury to replace Strué in midfield, and Massi is preferred to Robles in attack. Brazil back in their famous yellow jerseys after playing in what the coach Scolari regarded as their luckier change strip of blue shirts, which helped to bring them victory, in his view, in the previous match against Peru. The red and white stripes of Paraguay, their kit, hasn't changed in these championships.
Well, I'm looking for the same start that they gave in the previous game. I thought against Peru they were very positive in the opening 15 minutes. Brazil, certainly the front 2 of Guilherme de Casio and Everton, both played very well. A lot of movement. There's the first foul of the game from Eduardo Costa, and he's the lad we were talking about in the last game, Alan. He's only 18, very inexperienced, but he's very competitive.
And got a yellow card early on in that game for a competitive tackle. Alex trying to burst through the middle there. His way was blocked. Ewerton couldn't find a way through either. Paraguay, despite that dramatic 3-3 draw in their opening match, are a team with a reputation of being sound defensively and pretty well organised and having an excellent World Cup qualifying campaign, unlike Brazil. In fact, at the moment, if you were a betting man, Paraguay are a better prospect for getting through to next summer's finals than the Brazilians, incredibly.
They're almost there, Alan. They're almost there. At the moment, it looks as if it's going to be Uruguay and Brazil battling it out for that all-important 4th place. Obviously, the 5th place team will play Australia in a playoff, but I don't think any of those sides want that. Australia, no pushovers either.
Well, they've had some fantastic results, the men in the red and white stripes here. They've beaten Brazil, Colombia and Argentina in the South American World Cup qualifiers, despite being one of the smaller nations. on the continent, and despite, for this championship anyway, having several key players out injured or suspended. They played in the last World Cup finals, of course, in France 3 years ago now, their 5th appearance in the final stages of the world's premier competition. And they got through to the second round. In fact, I'll never forget that dramatic game against the host nation when Laurent Blanc scored the golden goal in extra time in Lens to knock out a very, very stubborn Paraguay team. They really have had a wonderful few years at the highest level. In fact, the latest FIFA World Rankings came out today. I know they've been much criticised, but they find Paraguay in 8th place. Brazil, incidentally, a 2nd, and the world and European champions France still topping that list.
Well, a little bit of early pressure from Paraguay, although the shot didn't test Marcos. You can see their attentions are there, Alan, and Scolari straight away responds by getting up off the bench. He's not the most comfortable people at the best of time, and I think he'll be hugging that touchline for most of the 90 minutes.
His 4th game in charge this. What a relief it was for him to get that first victory, first goal scored under his tutorship. In fact, against Peru, he'd been taking fierce criticism in the Brazilian media. And Paraguay threatened Brazil again, but that back three of Chris, Roque Jr. and Juan were pretty solid against the Peruvians. It was noticeable in that game that Brazil didn't really begin to turn on the style until they were safe at 2-0. They were edgy and apprehensive early on, and they've made a similar sort of start here, Gerry.
Yes, I think they found themselves in uncharted territory for them. You know, the pressure started to get to them. I think that's one of the reasons why Scolari went from the flat back 4 with Chris and Roque Jr. in the middle. He then brought Juan in to make it a 3rd central defender, and they looked a lot more solid. And I was very pleased with the attacking play on the right-hand side, particularly of Giuliano Belletti. But you're right, in the second half, Alan, there's no doubt about it. It wasn't until the second goal went in that they could actually breathe a sigh of relief, and we saw the showmanship from Danielson and co.
And Ciso switching it to Escobar, playing on the right tonight, even though he appeared at left-back in Paraguay's previous game. Paraguay drawing 3-3 against Peru in their opening match, and then 0-0 against Mexico in their second game. Brazil, of course, lost against Mexico in their opener, and as we've mentioned, beat Peru 2-0 in their second game. Sanabria with a long ball forward, easily won back by the Brazilians. Here's Uaton in midfield, being pursued all the way by Gerry, who in fact in the end brought down the Brazilian player. The quality of the free kicks, something that we normally associate to be of the highest quality in South American football, has been very poor so far in this tournament. I wonder if it's going to improve here.
Well, they're bound to be poor when there's no Rivaldo, no Roberto Carlos. I mean, 2 of the best, certainly from strength and pace. Roberto Carlos can't crack a ball and scored some magnificent goals over the last few seasons, but Rivaldo is probably the best exponent of free kicks, I think, at the moment. He always hits the target, and very clever.
And that was a clever ball too. Junior pulling it back into the...
He wasn't happy though.
into the danger area, but the referee's going to pull them all back and said, take it again.
Well, I think the element of surprise is gone now, because that's something obviously they rehearsed. It was a clever little ball in the channel, and I think they're going to have to go for goal now.
It's young Eduardo Costa, the teenager, in midfield. It's another clever ball, and not dissimilar either. Paraguay still didn't react, although their goalkeeper did, to be fair to him. Tabarelli in the right place to cut out a centre that was under-hit, really, by the number 21, Uaton, the striker up front alongside Guilherme, who scored the opening goal against Peru.
Well, Uaton is very mobile, as we said in the last game we saw him, and you can see there he's got good pace, made a good diagonal run through the penalty area, got in front of the goalkeeper, but the keeper recovered the situation, and here's Brazil in the attack again.
Look at all those yellow shirts getting forward this time. A more positive approach this time from the Brazilians. Their coach Scolari has been criticised for his negative approach, but it's one hell of a job taking over the most famous football team on the planet, where expectations are so incredibly high. The Brazilian press said after their opening defeat against Mexico, it was one of the worst performances in Brazil's history. That's difficult to live with, that kind of criticism. Scolari, incidentally, the third different coach the Brazilian national team have had in less than a year. Escobar loses possession, and that could be serious. Eduardo Costa forced to check back onto his right foot, however. And the back heeler flicked off Enciso, the little terrier-like midfield player for Paraguay. Throw taken by Junior, left wing back nominally in this Brazilian team, but a great deal of flexibility as ever about the way they play Brazil. Gerry forward, back briefly. And now Paraguay build themselves their confidence on a high, having already, of course, beaten Brazil in a World Cup qualifier. They've got nothing to fear from the men in yellow, the boys from Brazil. And in a sense, they really are boys, most of these players, because the top Brazilian names not present in this year's Copa America. The European-based stars taking a holiday after an exhausting domestic season in the various leagues that are dotted in throughout the continent of Europe.
Some of the replacements have been pretty impressive. And the referee's given a free kick for the challenge. I think once the studs go above like 12 inches off the ground, free kicks are given, and this strict Argentinian referee Angel Sanchez has given Paraguay in a dangerous position on the left-hand side, a free kick.
Messi winning that free kick. Sanabria, the central defender, closely marked there by Roque Junior, the number 4, as it's whipped into that area near the penalty spot. Little back heeler, do love a trick, and this could open things up as well. And still danger here for Brazil. And the referee's pointed to the penalty spot. What a start here in Cali. Brazil, who, remember, will go out of the competition if they lose here, have conceded a penalty inside the first 10 minutes. What drama!
Well, it's Maringo who was actually pulled down, but you know, once they played this clever little piece of play here, checks inside, it's a last-ditch challenge. I wasn't sure that he actually fell, and the referee's in a great position. Let's look at it again from this angle. It's Emerson who's making the challenge. I thought he's won the ball there.
Well, it was risky and fatal, as it turns out, because the referee Sanchez from Argentina, who of course are Brazil's greatest rivals, has pointed to the spot, and this is a wonderful opportunity for Paraguay to increase the pressure on Brazil. Great noise from the crowd trying to unsettle the Paraguayan. It looks like Caceres is going to take the kick. The referee is increasing the pressure on the taker by just making sure that everyone is outside the area. Marcos trying to make himself look as big as possible here. Will it work, or are Paraguay about to take the lead? Gamesmanship, which the referee is right on top of. And at last the whistle goes, and hammered in. He was the coolest man out there, and astonishingly, Brazil find themselves in a difficult situation here. Already a goal down. Alvarenga's penalty, hit left-footed, sweet as you like, well beyond the reach of Marcos, and it's Paraguay 1, Brazil 0.
Well, what a start. There's a good penalty kick from Alvarenga. He decides which way he wants to hit it, and he buries it. Really does give it the laces. Superb strike. But what a turn up now. Brazil have really got to throw the shackles off. They've really got to get back into this game. And we hear chants of Brazil. They're certainly going to have to raise their game a little bit.
Well, that's the worst possible start for the mighty Brazil. 1 down. If they lose, they're out of the Copa America at the first round stage, something that hasn't happened to Brazil since the tournament was reorganized on its present lines. Alvarenga, sweet left foot, got the vote ahead of the central defender Caceres, who it looked initially was going to take the kick, but Alvarenga took the responsibility, and despite what was quite a long wait, kept calm and swept it home. A draw, I remind you, would be enough for Brazil, because that would give them 4 points, and that would be enough to go through as one of the third-place qualifiers. But hey, Brazil can't rely on that kind of scenario unfolding here. They've got to go for broke now, and that's made what was already a fascinating game even more so. Uerten loses possession, snapped away by Cáceres. It'll be interesting to see what effect that will have on the previously fragile confidence of these Brazilian players as Junior brings them forward, finds Uerten. First corner for Brazil.
That's good counter-attack there from Brazil, and Uerten's ball was poor. Just looking at the penalty kick again from Alvarenga. Very, very cool, very powerful left foot.
Junior. And clearance by Gerry. Well, we were saying Brazil are a team, like most football teams, let's face it, who thrive on confidence. Now the pressure's on them. How will they respond? Roque Junior's cross too deep.
I think that's been one of the problems as well with Brazil, the quality of the final ball in. We saw it again, although Roque Junior, to be fair, is a central defender. Looking for a better ball than that. They've got to give some service to the front two of Guilherme and Uerten.
Remember, Brazil won this competition 2 years ago, surprisingly only their 6th triumph in the history of the Copa America. Argentina and Uruguay have each won it 14 times, although they have been losing finalists. Brazil a record 10 times. We're talking here about the team who's appeared, never mind the Copa America, in the last 2 World Cup finals of '94 and '98. Maybe different personnel, but once you pull on that yellow jersey, you've got a great deal of responsibility, a great deal of weight on your shoulders as well. And it really would be one of the major sporting upsets of the year, of many a year you could argue, if Brazil were to go out of this tournament at the first stage. If there's any consolation, at least there's a lot of the game left to resurrect this situation. Enciso for Paraguay. Layoff by Quinitha. Okay, Junior beaten to it, and Paraguay are looking, as you'd expect, extremely confident now. Paraguayan fans in the crowd here, producing shouts of "Ole" for every successful pass. But here comes Belletti, who is outstanding for Brazil in the victory over Peru down that right-hand side. Guilherme's control let him down. A wonderful consolation from Brazil's point of view that they have Junior, the former Middlesbrough player, and Denilson sitting on the bench. Both of them came off the bench against Peru and turned in absolutely brilliant performances. Denilson getting one of the goals of the tournament. Will they be needed tonight?
I think they will be, the way it's going at the minute. That's another clumsy challenge from Eduardo Costa, who he seems to be a bit of a hatchet man in the middle of the park, the young 18-year-old midfield player.
Paraguay beat Brazil 2-1 in that World Cup qualifying match a year ago. It was their first victory over the Brazilians for 16 games, spreading over a period of more than 20 years. As Alex takes Brazil forward in search of an equaliser here, with only 15 minutes gone. Peru beating Mexico 1-0 in the first game of the evening. This is the final fixture in this group, which is of course Group B, and it means that if Paraguay win, they go through and Brazil go out.
Some very clumsy challenges from Brazil, and you were talking about confidence, and I think it's made them even more nervous, Brazil now, and you know, they're desperate to win the ball back, and they're clumsy in their challenges, and I think we'll see a lot of bookings here tonight.
Uerten dispossessed by Sanabria. Two big, strong centre-half for Paraguay, Sanabria and Cáceres. Neatly balanced side. And a team that came into this competition in good form. Unlike Brazil, Roque Junior for them. Alex did well, persisted, found Junior down the left. The cross really disappointing.
Well, that's 3 in a row now, Alan, and I mentioned it earlier. I feel it's one of the things that have let them down, that quality. You know, they worked so hard to get Junior in behind the full-back into a position where he could put a dangerous ball into the box, and again, it's a poor ball in.
Junior, one of the European-based stars, an exception, one of those who is over here. He plays for Parma in Italy. He had a decent season, and in fact have secured a Champions League spot for the coming campaign. Here he is again, taking on Gerry. Another disappointing ball. They're really Jekyll and Hyde in this competition, Brazil. Awful against Mexico, uncertain at the start against Peru, but once they've got a lead, we saw some typically Brazilian football. Now they've gone a goal down early on here. They've returned again to that stuttering style. Eurton has won another corner.
I think you're right, Alan. I think you could safely say they do not handle the pressure well, the pressure of having to win. It just shows you how good the Brazilian sides in the past were. They used to just win, never even considered draws or defeats. And confidence does play a big part.
Everyone expecting a corner. Indeed, the ball was spotted up, but the linesman obviously saw an offside. So Paraguay get away with that. Ball played in to Pereira, the man who scored 2 goals in the game against Paraguay. Either dispossessed on that far side. It's a throw in to Paraguay. Pereira's layoff a little sloppy this time. Juan Roque Jr. looked very controlled in that moment. Took a risk there that many central defenders wouldn't have taken, I think. Well, you can only imagine the masses of TV and radio stations in Brazil, and I mean masses as well, hundreds cover their games. You can only imagine what they're saying to the millions of people back home, because it seems everyone in Brazil is a football fan at this moment in time. They'll be shouting and screaming and hollering down their microphones, and the written journalists will be sharpening their knives should this scoreline stay this way for long.
I've just watched the last 10 minutes, some decent balls played up to the front too for Brazil, Gerry and Eurton, and not making the ball stick. And if they want support from midfield, the front men have got to make the ball stick.
Juan back again to Roque Jr. Shrill whistles of disapproval from the Brazilian fans for that ball that went back. This is Chris, the other central defender. Junior seeing plenty of the ball down this left-hand side early on. Eurton. And gets it back. Guilherme involved as well. It comes to Junior. Could have gone anywhere. Has gone for a corner.
He was in a great position, Junior. Now watch the flight of that ball. It was not going to be on target. I think he was lucky it hit a Paraguayan defender and went for the corner kick, but they've got to do better than that, Alan, in those positions from what, 9 or 10 yards out. He's got to hit the target.
Alex will take the kick. Brazil a goal behind. Chris, the central defender, has come forward, being marked by his opposite number there, Caceres. And the shot through the crowd, pushed away by goalkeeper Tavarelli. Good response from the keeper, must have seen that late.
I think you're right, it came through a ruck of players' legs, and right at the last second, there's a good crack of a shot from Eurton, and there it is, he just spots it, gets fingertips to it, and pushes it round the post.
Ricardo Tavarelli conceding another corner. Alex has come across to this side to take it now. Roque Jr. on the near post, it's gone beyond him, and a good safe catch again by Tavarelli, who found himself first choice also at the previous Copa America when the extrovert Chilavert wasn't available for selection. Now Brazil have given the ball away again in a dangerous position here. And a chance for another. Well, that really should have been 2-0. Ferreira, the man who got 2 goals in their opening game, has missed a golden opportunity to really put the knife in Brazil.
Shows you the vulnerability in the centre of the defence. Both the central defenders pulled out of position. It was actually Junior, the left back, who was trying to come in and give some cover, but you're right, Ferreira should have scored. He should have hit the target. What a let-off for Brazil.
Well, Marcarani, the coach of Paraguay, knows the game well enough to know that that could be a serious miss by Ferreira. Maybe you don't get 2 chances to finish off Brazil. Well, finish off might be a bit of an exaggeration as we're only midway through the first half, but could Brazil come back from a 2-goal deficit? Junior just about keeping that one in play. Back to Eduardo Costa. Emerson, Eduardo Costa. Back again to Junior, who might have used his arm to control that.
Certainly did. Paraguay getting back in numbers, not too disappointed about the ball when it goes wide, but as soon as it gets near that final third, there's pressure being applied, and sometimes it's more than one Paraguayan. There's 1 or 2 of them coming to close them down, making it difficult for Brazil to get any inroad into behind their defence, which is what they need to do.
Junior. Yurton. Closing Brazil down very effectively in the middle of the field here, Paraguay. And not afraid to resort to physical stuff when they need to be. They need to. Escobar getting in Eduardo Costa's way then.
And the referee deemed it was an obstruction.
Clumsy free kick given away. Everton. Alex takes it on. Guillermo's layoff. That surely was a foul.
Well, he's not doing them any favours, the Argentinian referee, Alan, is he?
Well, anyone who knows anything about South American football will quickly tell you that the rivalry, and that's not a strong enough word really, it almost borders on hatred between Argentina and Brazil, is as intense as any rivalry in world football. So for an Argentine referee to give a penalty against Brazil in the opening 10 minutes of such a critical game, that will be commented upon, I think, in Brazil.
I thought it was a soft one as well.
And once again, Brazil find themselves exposed here. Pereira, well placed in the middle. He's the only one who is. Having to hold it up, waiting for support to arrive, which it now does from Canitha. From him, a little disappointing in the end, enable Roque Jr. to step in and impressively take it forward, and he's keeping going, the sweeper, and he's still there. Gerry's challenge. Now the referee might have to act here and produce a card, I think.
Certainly is. Roque Jr. clumsy again, done well getting forward, but you can see here, oh, he's right over the top, straight over the top. Well, no wonder it was Gerry who was on the receiving end.
If indeed the referee does show the card, and he has, to Roque Jr., that's serious for him. It's his 2nd caution, and that means that if Brazil do get to the quarter-final, he won't be able to play.
He was nowhere near the ball, Alan, was he? He was well over the top.
A number of European base players who did come here. Roque Jr. plays for Milan. Paraguay continue to look impressive at times here. Brazil continue to look very nervous. Sanabria's clearance. Alvarenga and Escobar and Canitha all getting forward down that side. Look how many men they've got down that left-hand channel. The ball could easily have caught Marcos by surprise. In fact, I think he must have carried it behind the line. The referee's indicating a corner.
It's a lovely piece of play from Canitha, a lovely little 1-2, and then that left foot, and it took a big deflection. That's why it took a deflection off the defender, and it is a corner kick.
response there from Marcos, and he might be called upon again here. Big number 5, Sanabria, closely marked by Roque Jr. Paraguay win, they will go through to the quarterfinals, and Brazil will go out. A draw is enough to see Brazil into the last 8, however. Mexico, as leaders of the group, stand and watch, as do Peru, their game having just been completed. I'm sure the whistle had gone in the build-up to that attack, and indeed it had, I think.
Yeah, offside, but still there's a nervousness about Brazil at the back. Still don't look totally comfortable to me.
Chris under pressure straight away. Just about kept the ball then. Roque Jr. helps it on to Eduardo Costa. Now Juan. Not flowing in the style they produced against Peru. Far from it. Still a stuttering Brazilian performance so far. A goal behind. Penalty after only 10 minutes, converted by Alvarenga. Junior seeing more of the ball perhaps than anyone. The left wing back. And not making particularly good use of it, I have to say. But it's been won back here by Alex. Oh, that was a dangerous ball. He just couldn't quite find Guilherme on the near post.
Well, I think tactically Paraguay are playing really well. They're putting 2 players on the left-hand side to stop Belletti getting forward, who's the better of the wing-backs and has not had any service at all in the opening 28 minutes. They're allowing the other wing-back, Junior, to get the ball because, as you said, his distribution's not been too clever.
Okay, Junior joins in the attack. Guilherme's layoff and another misplaced pass by Brazil. And Chris then concedes the free kick on the halfway line with that challenge on Massi, player brought in to Paraguay's attack tonight.
I think Chris, a little nudge in the back of Massi right in front of the referee. No doubt about that one.
The striker who got fouled there has just got himself a move to the Salgueiros club in Portugal, Aristides Massi. Ciso goes for the return ball as well, looking for Gerry down that right-hand side, but now Brazil have it back once more with Junior. Yutan ahead of him. And across the line, I believe. Half an hour gone here then. Brazil 0, Paraguay 1. Next in the Copa America, it's the turn of Group C, with Bolivia taking on the magical skills of Paulo Wanchop and his Costa Rica teammates. Following that, Honduras play the 14 times champions of this competition, Uruguay. Roque Jr. for Brazil. Junior. Back they go again, and the crowd and the coach not at all happy with what they're seeing from Brazil at the moment. Eduardo Costa. Look at that. I mean, you just wouldn't expect that of a Brazilian player, would you?
Unbelievable, you're right, Alan. It's to do with confidence, so pressure coming from the midfield player, closing him down. The first touch lets him down. How many times can you say that about a Brazilian?
Absolutely. You could get them under the Trade Descriptions Act at the moment for wearing those yellow jerseys, I think. This is not the Brazil that we all love. This is not the Brazil that coined the phrase "the beautiful game."
But this is exactly the same side that beat Peru and did quite well in the first half, and ground their way to a 1-0 lead, and then built on that. but at the minute they seem to have no confidence, no way of getting through this Paraguayan defence.
If ever a team needed a goal, not just in terms of the scoreline, but to boost their sagging confidence, it's Brazil at the moment. Belletti. Guilherme with a nice little flick. Oh, they almost got that goal. Ewerton's shot hit the underside of the crossbar and stayed out. Is it going to be one of those nights?
Oh, when your luck's out, your luck's really out. He lets it run across his body, left foot, crashes it, underside of the bar, back out again. Unbelievable bad luck for Brazil. That would have been a fantastic goal. Just, you know, we're saying they needed a lift, Alan. That would have given them a huge lift.
I think 20, Ewerton. So close to an equalising goal. The keeper just about poured that one away. It's come straight back in and not very accurately. Goal kick.
Well, I think it might have taken a deflection. The linesman's just put his flag up, and I think it could be a corner.
Yes, you're right. Alex will take it. So Brazil get another chance. 13 minutes of the first half remaining here in Cali. Brazil one behind. Juan and Roque Jr. Roque Jr. almost met it. Good work by the goalkeeper, Tavarelli. Not for the first time. Junior pumps it back in. Oh, that is brilliant. That is more like it. And that's the central defender, Juan, by the way. Oh, and another little back heeler. Could this be the equaliser? He's denied them again. Tavarelli. This time, Emerson.
What a game Tavarelli's having. He's made 2 or 3 great stops. Spread himself really well as Emerson was coming in. Emerson looking to lift it over his body, and he just does enough. Gets that left arm up, blocks it, puts it out for another corner kick to Brazil.
Pressure mounting now on Paraguay, with their goalkeeper in inspired form so far. Another corner. Frustration there for Emerson, who plays for the new Italian champions, Roma. Alex's corner into the near post this time. Gerry brushed aside, and another little nudge there that had the Brazilians appealing, and Emerson looking long and hard at the referee, who's only said corner again. Paraguay can get through this little patch. Who knows what could happen here? And pretty severe pressure at the moment. Gerry got the corner away this time, and Junior belted to the ground in that tackle, and an opening on here. They committed so many forward. It's 3 against 2, and all around those 3, more Paraguayans arriving from deep midfield positions. Brazil were all over the place then, lucky to survive, Gerry.
Yeah, Juan did absolutely superb. It was about 6 against 2 at one stage.
What an open game this is becoming now.
This is what we wanted. This is what we wanted. I think it was perfect, Alan, that Paraguay scored the opening goal. I think had Brazil done it, it would have been a different type of a game, but this is superb stuff. Belletti doing absolutely brilliant, getting back again.
10 minutes to half-time. Brazil 0, Paraguay 1. If it stayed that way, Brazil would be out of the tournament. Pumped into the back post again. Alex keeping it in play. Junior. Gerry has proved a real barrier in more ways than one to Junior on this near side of the field. Brazilians felt they should have had a free kick then. Escobar with a long ball forward. Gerry brushed aside by Roque Junior. He's got to be careful. Absolutely. Already on a card, of course. And already set to miss the quarter-final, if they get there. Eduardo Costa, good turn.
Oh, that's a bad
He's
challenge.
chopped down by Escobar.
That's a bad challenge. He's going to get booked for that.
Should be if the referee's consistent, and he is.
Well, I think it's Enciso who's been booked for that one. Escobar was behind him. Mind you, if Enciso had missed him, I'm sure Escobar would have took him out.
He was ready. Assassin number 2. Well, they've had a number of set pieces and opportunities to draw level. What can they do from this latest one, Brazil? Yet another corner. This must be, what, 5 or 6 on this side and 2 or 3 on the other.
You're right, they're heading for double figures.
Junior's cross, the keeper's there again to deny them. Oh! Well, you do begin to wonder if it's going to be one of those nights for Brazil. Everton off target.
But on the plus side, they've really responded in the last 8 or 9 minutes. They've put pressure on this Paraguayan defence. They look as if they're capable of scoring a goal. But to be fair, the goalkeeper, Parry's been absolutely superb. Have a look at this here. He takes it on the way up, and he does well to keep it down, but he can't hit the target.
Marvellous agility by the 20-year-old Everton, who's actually top scorer in the recent South American Under-20 Championships early in the year with 6 goals. The confirmation there on screen of Enciso's yellow card earlier for Paraguay. Still lead by 1-0 here in this crucial period at the close of the first half. Difficult route for Alex, but he's found a way through. Brilliant play, then he got decked by Gerry. Come out again to Emerson. He just lost his footing at the vital moment. I don't know if the referee saw that challenge in the build-up there. Presumably not, because he's given nothing as Eduardo Costa gives the ball away. Well, it's been eventful. It certainly has. And this group is ending in a very exciting style. Peru look on, wondering if they're going to make it into the quarterfinals or if their place can be snatched away. Neither of these two. Everton. Plenty of room on that far side for Belletti.
Just look at the number of red and white shirts coming to close them down.
Playing good football deep inside their own half. Gerry with the header on. Suspicion of handball. The referee has waved play on, however. Canitha doing well. And they're playing some excellent stuff here, Paraguay.
There's some good technicians on the ball, haven't they? They can play it around, they can keep possession. And Brazil had a good spell of dominance, but it's not ruffled them at all, Paraguay. The 2 big lads in the centre defence have done really well. Here comes one of them now.
Breaking forward from that deep defensive role. Just underlining the kind of confidence they're displaying at the moment. Now he's got to race back, however, as Gerry finds the gap to his advantage. Thought he was going to get a free kick. Thought wrong, because the referee again has waved play on. I don't think Brazil are too happy with this official at the moment.
There seems to be a little bit of inconsistency, I think, from their point of view.
Into the last 5 minutes of the first half, and Brazil have not been able to make any inroads into that 1-0 deficit, and it could become 2-0. It was a ambitious shot, I guess, from that range, but well worth a try anyway from Canitha, the fullback.
He's got a good left foot. I think he hit it too well on it. If he had mishit it slightly, it would have went one side or the other of the goalkeeper, Marcos.
Escobar's clearance. Roque Jr. wins it back with a towering header. And all else fails for Paraguay. Tavarelli's there, the man in form, their keeper. And that will be a free kick. How much Paraguayan football has improved, that a lot of their players have earned lucrative moves abroad, particularly into Europe, whereas just a few years ago their squad was composed almost entirely of home-based players. Now the rest of the world has woken up to the fact that there's some very good footballers in Paraguay, and they're proving that here in the first half. But Brazil won't be shaken that easily. Alex on the ball for them. And again, the sight of a Brazilian player miscontrolling the ball, it's a shock to the system. This is Juan, the central defender, picking out Emerson, the skipper. Gerry makes himself available, got a bit lucky there, Emerson, and decked by a bad challenge, absolutely, and quite rightly the referee produces another yellow card. Yeah, it was just a few minutes coming round, but he has got that caution.
He wasn't going to disappoint you. But they are queuing up to throw these challenges in, and Brazil's starting to ask a few questions of them. That's a very late challenge from Escobar. And he upends Emerson. That's the little trip earlier on Belletti.
They seem to be indicating the Brazilian players that they need treatment here, maybe even a stretcher for the injured player.
Well, it's Ewerton who's down. I didn't see what happened to him.
Because it was Emerson, wasn't it, that got whacked?
Emerson's being attended to now, but that's Ewerton.
More danger of getting run over by the car that brings the stretcher on there. That was the challenge, and a very painful one as well, which has brought the free kick for Brazil. Captain Emerson into the deck. Now, in an incident that we didn't see, Ewerton is the one who's worse off because he's being stretchered off.
It's a shame if he can't come back on again. He had an accident. Oh, he is. He's coming off.
He is.
Nielsen, who's going to replace him. Mind you, that's not a bad sub to bring on, is it?
No, and I wonder if his first move will be to take this free kick. Maybe not. He's leaving that to others. There's about 21 in the wall there by the looks of it. It's bigger than the Great Wall of China, that one. About 7 or 8 Paraguayans, a couple of Brazilians for good measure, but still they found a way through it. Alex unlucky.
Another one straight off the training ground, but well rehearsed. Goalkeeper looks in confident mood at the moment, Tabarelli. Excellent strike, left foot, swerving, the wall jumps. Perfectly positioned.
Well, in terms of possession and chances created, Brazil have come back very strongly, and there's a lovely ball from Roque Jr. Oh, well, the collision there involving Tabarelli was harsh, but the goalkeeper has got away with it, and he really had no choice. He had to keep coming there. Gerry switches the play. 2 minutes of stoppage time will be added. Now there's another incident off the ball. It's eyes probably, but hopefully these eyes in the back of his head at the moment.
Well, he's looked very solid indeed.
Well, great ball in, and it should have been the equaliser right on the stroke of half-time. Alex arriving with perfect timing. The header was impressive, but not on target.
Well, I thought he should have scored. He's got the header, you're right. Some players in his way, and that's the challenge on Alex Watt. 60 seconds earlier. Maybe he's still a little bit stunned from that, and that's the reason why he missed it.
Game here in Cali tonight between Mexico and Peru, disappointed largely, failed to come to life. This is the opposite, right from the start. It's had something about it, this match. Here they go again, Brazil, in search of that equaliser. Junior's cross.
Well, Gerry was loitering, but he hasn't done an awful lot for me in this first half. The man who scored the first goal for them against Peru.
They've now got the Considerable talents of Danielson out there in place of the injured Uerton, as Roque Jr. plays a lovely return ball there. Ooh, that was a risky tackle, but a well-timed one. Good defending by Caceres. There can be only seconds remaining. In fact, that's it. The end of the first half in Cali, and Brazil are in trouble here. They're a goal behind, and if the scoreline stays that way, they're out of the Copa America. We've reached the interval. It's Brazil 0, Paraguay 1.
El larguero de Everton y con un remate de Alex que casi se introduce en la portería de Parry. No es el Brasil de los mejores tiempos, pero ante la posibilidad de quedar eliminados están reaccionando y se merecen ese empate. Veremos qué ocurre en el segundo tiempo. Volveremos desde Cali. Hasta ahora mismo. De nuevo con todos ustedes, señoras y señores, cuando está a punto de comenzar la segunda parte. Ahí pueden ver ya al colegiado del encuentro, el argentino Ángel Sánchez, con los jugadores de Paraguay. Aristides.
Perfect timing as the referee's whistle gets the second half underway here in Cali. Brazil could be 45 minutes away from elimination and humiliation. Because make no mistake, this would be a story that would make front-page headlines in the sporting press all around the world if Brazil go out here. And if the score stays that way, they will go out. Paraguay aggressively straight out of the blocks at the start of the second half here, because although we're talking about Brazil's problems, let's not forget the huge incentive for Paraguay. If they win, then they will go through to the quarter-finals. Brazil have to draw at least to take their place in the last 8. Gerry.
It is a must-win situation for Paraguay. It's set up nicely. The last 15 minutes of the first half is as good as Brazil's played in the first 45 minutes. The introduction of Danielson should give them plenty of width on his left-hand side, and hopefully they can get themselves back into the game, because, as you say, Alan, we don't want Brazil out of the game.
A stumbling start, though, as once again the ball is run out of play on that left-hand side, where most of Brazil's attacks have been based. In the victory over Peru, it was the right-hand side that saw most of the ball. Belletti in particular, he's been pretty unemployed tonight.
Yeah, this is the point I made. Paraguay are forcing him to play down the left side, and Junior's crosses and his possession on the left side's not been so good. Belletti on the right-hand side, every time he gets the ball, there's double cover, and he's finding it difficult to get through. But here's Danielson.
And that means danger. Beautifully balanced player, clips one in dangerously. Guilherme came in on the near post and couldn't reach it.
What a pass, what a ball from Danielson. And they've got to get bodies in the box. When he gets wide on that left-hand side, get in the box, gamble. Alex should be gambling, Emerson should be gambling at the far post.
So Brazil find their lifeline into the quarter-finals, still evading them. They've had near misses, they've hit the bar, they feel very aggrieved about the penalty that went against them in the first 10 minutes. You probably saw their coach, Luis Scolari, having a furious discussion with the Argentine referee Ángel Sánchez as the teams went back to the dressing rooms. But they've got to put all that kind of misery behind them now and start with a clean slate, so to speak, here in the second half. Stop feeling sorry for themselves and get on with the business of getting a goal. Eduardo Costa foul then. Brazil are increasing the pace here. Roque Jr. taking every opportunity to step out from the back. Here he is again. But dispossessed by Gerry, who nudged him. And remember, Roque Jr. is on a yellow card. I think Gerry has certainly remembered that, just trying to perhaps bring the worst out of the Brazilian there.
Well, I think he can be clumsy at times, Roque Jr. He's got to be very careful.
Brazil back in possession, though. Lovely little turn, but the ball forward to Juan. Another of the central defenders wasn't good enough. Alex wins it back, however, and there's danger here for Paraguay. Guilherme goes down over the goalkeeper's challenge, and the goalkeeper feels that he should be yellow carded for that, obviously.
Well, this is a great strike from Junior, the first time he's actually tested the goalkeeper. He can't hold it. And Gerry coming in, looking for the bits and pieces. Doesn't really capitalise on it, but it's good play once again from Brazil. And a little bit of a let-off, you've got to say, from Paraguay.
Well, this is a fascinating game of football now, a fascinating group here. So delicately poised at this stage. Junior getting more and more into the game now. Good ball inside this time and goes for the return. Once again, Guilherme's on the near post. Was that a handball? They're furious, the Brazilians. And it's Junior, to add insult to injury, who is yellow carded for his protest.
Well, the referee's deemed that it hasn't been intentional, but I can understand the frustration from the Brazilians. They do feel hard done by. I thought it was a very soft penalty given in the first half. But this Argentinian referee's not going to give them anything, is he, Alan?
And nor is this fellow. Tavarelli keeps defying whatever Brazil can throw him. Let's have another look here. No, it's the other incident. And suddenly there's a chance for a second Paraguayan goal, as we were seeing the replay of that earlier moment in the Paraguayan goal mouth. Brazil's defence was cut to pieces.
Well, they came straight down the middle once again, caught napping. Brazil trying to push forward, caught in the counter-attack. Oh, here we go to Nielsen.
What a game of football this is now. It's threatening to be the best game of the tournament, really. With the mighty Brazil clinging on, facing the possibility of elimination. You get the feeling that if at any stage Paraguay can get a second goal, Gerry, Brazil will be in real trouble. I can't see them coming back.
I agree with you. I think they're fighting for their lives at the moment. They're 1-0 down, but I think a second goal could be a real killer blow. And just wonder how they're going to break through this Paraguayan defence and the goalkeeper, Tavarelli, who's been outstanding.
Good challenge by Juan.
You think of the man that Tavarelli's replacing, Jose Luis Chilavert. What a character he was, and this boy's proven just to be equally as good a goalkeeper. He mightn't take penalty kicks, but he's certainly saving them at the other end.
Eduardo Costa with the long ball, cleaned up nicely. Escobar with the header back to Tavarelli, whose kick was a little hasty and has gone straight through. Junior and Danielson combining down that left-hand side. That's got to be a possible, certainly a free kick, possible yellow card, I would think.
It better not be, because Maringo's already been booked. There's obstruction there. Maringo just gets it. It's not Maringo, actually. You can see now. I thought it was Maringo. It's Gerry.
Looks like another change is going to be made as well by Scolari, despite the fact we're only a few minutes into this second half. It's all happening here. Alex will take the free kick. Don't think the referee produced that card in the end. Is this Brazil's opportunity to break back into this game? Yes!
Oh my goodness.
It certainly was the opportunity, but it was an opportunity that wasn't taken. They've only got a corner out of it.
Well, Tavarelli once again is a great ball from Alex. Chris rises at the far post. It's a good header and it's a great save. I'm not sure he knew an awful lot about it, to be honest, Alan. Unbelievable.
And he got down well to save the follow-up as well. And then it's stabbed by Roque Junior into the side netting. Well, when you're feeling sorry for yourself, you look at near misses like that and you think it is going to be one of those kind of matches.
Yeah, but you just got to keep persevering, and it looks like the youngster's going to be replaced, young Eduardo Costa.
So I think the local TV service here got their numbers a little bit mixed up there, confusing the Brazilian change with the Paraguayan numbers. As Brazil start all over again, and the man who's just come on, Juninho Pernambucano, in possession. Oh, not a bad challenge.
The thing is, though, the referee seems to be giving the Paraguayans the benefit of the doubt whenever there's bad challenges. The Brazilians are very annoyed that they're getting booked at the drop of a hat.
Was the substitute, Pernambucano. Oh, and another opportunity. Well, that seemed to evade everyone, and Tavarelli just stood his ground, basically, and the ball came to him.
Well, Balletti's looking to get on with it, and here is Juninho Pernambucano sending the ball into the box, and I think, for me, Gerry could have got a better contact on the ball.
It's a corner, the pressure's mounting. It's a pretty similar scenario to the final stages of the first half, with Brazil on all-out attack, but always vulnerable to the counter-attack. Good cross, again, it's evaded everyone. Balletti providing the centre.
I just wonder, can they hold out Paraguay? Brazil really turning the screws, pouring on the pressure, and you've got to feel from they deserve an equaliser, they deserve at least a goal, Alan, and sometimes football can be cruel. There's Alex laying it off to Junior.
So many Brazilians have come forward now that if Paraguay do get a break, anything could happen. Cross block, another corner. Paraguay holding out.
Only just.
Absolutely. 10 minutes of the second half gone. Junior's cross, the goalkeeper hesitated for once. And it's knocked back to Juan. Well, they don't know which way to look here, Paraguay's defenders. Brazilians coming at them from all angles. I think that'll be another corner. Just deflected off
in double figures. It's definitely in double figures now, Alan. Unbelievable the amount of corners that Brazil's got, and nothing to show for it.
Juan and Emerson together near the penalty spot. Guilherme on the near post. But it's Escobar who met it first to head it away from danger. And this time the referee does give a free kick, foul by Gerry.
Everybody back in the final third for Paraguay. I think they're leaving Masai is the only one that's being left up front, so it's 10 men behind the ball.
And ironic that they have come closest to getting a goal in this second half with that earlier breakaway. Nilsson plays it back in again. Rocky Jr. has stayed forward. Well, Paraguay are surviving this match by the skin of their teeth and a whole lot of luck.
I don't know how they're still 1-0 up. It's just unbelievable. Just look at the strike from Juninho Pernambucano off the crossbar. And when Lady Luck doesn't smile on, that's what happens. They should be probably in front, to be honest, but that's the way it goes.
Meantime, Paraguay have made a change. Strue, who played in the last game anyway, replaces Enciso. I think he might have a bit of defending to do, the substitute. Escobar for Paraguay. If there was any justice at all, I agree with you, Gerry. Brazil will not only be level here, they've been comfortably ahead in this game, but fair play to Paraguay. They've dug in, they've defended well. Nilsson just got the second ball in that lovely little build-up wrong.
Don't pull him back.
We could be in trouble here. It's Roque Jr. who's on a yellow card. It's a second yellow card, and he is off. Talk about shooting yourself in the foot. That was a foolish thing to do on the halfway line where there was no immediate danger. Roque Jr., who was set to miss the quarter-final anyway if Brazil get there, certainly will now, and he'll miss the rest of the game, and he's put his teammates in it.
Certainly has, and you know, we could see it coming. He's had a couple of clumsy challenges, but to actually pull him back, I mean, that's statutory. It's got to be a yellow card. He gives the referee no leeway whatsoever, and he could quite easily have committed suicide now. And Scolari's trying to get them organised. They're going to have to play 3 at the back.
I mean, we're talking about a really experienced player here who plays in Serie A in Italy. You know, it was a really foolish thing to do, wasn't it?
Crazy, absolutely ludicrous, and he could have cost them the game.
I suppose, look at it on the bright side from Brazil's point of view. If there was one area of the field where they could afford to be a man light, it was in defence, because they've been going forward for just about the last half an hour of this football match.
Unfortunately, though, Alan, nothing to show for it yet.
No. This is certainly the most eventful and intriguing of all the matches we've seen so far, I believe, in the Copa America. We're just coming up to an hour completed, and Brazil, who have appeared in the last 3 finals of this tournament, are 1 down and in danger of going out, down to 10 men.
Still not getting enough players in the box for me, Alan, when the crosses come in. There was only Gerry there. I'd like to see a lot more people getting forward and gambling to get in on the end of these crosses.
Brazil's future in this Copa America is on a knife edge now. You really believe that if Paraguay can snatch a second, it could be all over for Brazil. Escobar misjudged that, so Brazil with Junior and Alex still keep going. Oh, what a fantastic strike by Alex! And just when Brazil needed some magic, he's provided it.
Unbelievable goal, and it's thoroughly deserved. Just look at the celebrations going to the coach, Scolari, everybody's on top, and it's just fantastic. What a fantastic... He's trying to calm them down, get their composure, get them organised once again. Great goal from Alex. Well, just look at the clever play here. Little step over and then the shot, left foot, and there's no way that Tavarelli's going to save that one. And this is thoroughly deserved. What a game we've got now, Alan.
And within a couple of minutes of being reduced to 10 men by the sending off of their central defender, Roque Jr., the youngster Alex, who's just got involved in a little bit of an argument there with one of the Paraguayan players, has brought Brazil level. And that goal has completely altered the picture here, because remember, if Brazil do draw, then they are safe. They will have 4 points. We've already got Mexico and Peru on 4 points in this group, so the worst thing that could happen for Brazil would be going through as a third-place team. But as it happens, their goal difference is plus, Mexico's is 0, Peru's is minus, so ironically Brazil, from staring defeat and elimination in the face, could end up winning the group.
Yeah, if it stays like this, they'll finish top, Mexico second and Peru third, and that would be Paraguay eliminated. It's just incredible, but there's there's still 28 minutes to play, Alan, and I think the game's on a knife edge. Anything can happen.
Well, anyone who stayed up to the early hours UK time to watch this has been hugely rewarded by a tremendously eventful game of football here. 1-1. Brazil only have 10 men, but they have inspiration from that goal.
It's a fantastic strike, and it's just what they deserved and what they needed. And just look at what it means to Alex and the rest of the players.
Only 23. Plays for Palmeiras in the Brazilian league, and that's the most important goal he's ever scored. And Scolari knows that. His future on the line. This goal has made things look a lot rosier.
I love the little step over from Danielson before the cross came in, though.
Now, the questions about character are being asked about Paraguay. Brazil have answered their question in fine style. Oh, and they could have had another. Terrific save from Tavarelli that really must have stung his fingers.
Well, it's Danielson again. Unbelievable introduction this player is. That's a fantastic save. And they're not sitting back drawing 1-1. They want to win the game. That's fantastic. What a save.
Well, Paraguay have thrown another substitute on here just to try and stem the tide, I believe. As Brazil almost inevitably have yet another corner over on that far side. Julio Gonzalez, the man who's just come on. And Parry at full stretch has conceded another corner. Gonzalez, who will go into a defensive role, has replaced Massi, the striker. So they've only really got one man playing up front now, and that's Pereira.
Well, I think the fact that they've got 11 men against 10, they look as if they want to play on the counter-attack. They're trying to encourage Brazil to come forward and see if they can hit them with a sucker punch.
Well, then by Juan. And it looks like there's going to be another Brazilian change as well. This is Fabio Rochenbach.
Angerman midfield, good player. I like what I saw of him in the opening game. Recently signed for Barcelona.
Well, I'll tell you what, Juan was a little bit lucky he didn't pick up a yellow card for that challenge. When you think Roque Jr. got sent off for something not much worse. Alex, ironically, having been the absolute hero a few moments ago, is now substituted, as perhaps the coach has responded to the situation and maybe decided that 1-1 will do, thank you very much. Even though his players were going forward, maybe he's decided to sit and hold.
A clash of heads here, but he's aware of what happened. They took their only striker off in Massi. He knows that they put a defender on. He must know that Paraguay can't afford to just draw the game, otherwise they're going to get knocked out of the competition. So he knows they're going to try and play on the counter-attack, and that's why Rochenbach's come in to the middle of the park for that little bit of added insurance. And you can be sure on the counter-attack Paraguay will be pouring forward.
Very painful injury there, so we're going to have quite a stoppage, I would think, while this is sorted out.
Well, it's a substitute, Gonzalez. He's only just come on. I think that was his first contact, and it was a clash of heads with Juan.
Big central defender, first back on his feet.
Oh.
Whichever way you look at it, that is painful.
It is. Nice 1-1.
There seems to be a bit of anxiety as well from the medics about his condition.
It's always dangerous when there's a clash of heads, and you just can't take any chances. Gonzalez certainly looks as if he's come off worse.
There's so much going on here, but I think I'm right in saying they've actually used all their substitutes anyway, Paraguay. It's a foul.
It's clever play from Belletti. Encouraged the challenge to come in there to win the free kick and just take a little bit of the pressure off.
Three-quarters of the way through this final game in Group B in the Copa America, and we still don't know who's going to finish first, second and third in this group. Although as things stand at the moment, it's going to be Mexico and Brazil going through to the quarterfinals. Oh, you don't often see a Brazilian defender doing that. That's the kind of thing you might expect in nationwide Division 3 5 minutes to go.
I was going to say in the last couple of minutes, but there's 25 minutes to go.
It just shows you how much it means to these Brazilian players. They don't want to be saddled with the embarrassment of going out of the Copa at the first hurdle. Following in the line of some of the most famous footballers that ever pulled on that yellow jersey. They've already taken a lot of criticism back home. They're desperate now to qualify. And it'll be hard in the mouth time for all Brazilians at this moment. Paraguay have earned a corner. And the line's still down to 10 men at the moment.
I think this is a weakness in Brazil, certainly for me. Defensively, set plays, gone to sleep. That's where they conceded the opening goal against Mexico.
The John Weil head bandage, for anyone who remembers the famous Seoul West Brom centre-half from all those years ago. And the substitute makes sure that they're back to 11 players here, Paraguay. Bodies falling all over the place in the penalty area. Gonzalez, easy to spot him at the moment anyway. He does stand out like a beacon. Gerry. And again, Brazil have pulled everybody back behind the ball for the moment. And danger here, and there's a way through, surely! Oh, what a save! What a save! He wasn't to know that the flag had gone up. That was a tremendous save by Marcos.
Yes, it's Maringo who actually hits it. Now let's have a look. Well, there's one, two of them offside. The linesman's flag goes up straight away, to be fair to him, Alan.
And Brazil go forward again. Oh, brilliant run by Junior. Can he pull it back into the danger area? He certainly can. And Pernambuco pulled it back into an even more dangerous zone. He's come up front, even though he is normally a defensive midfielder, Gonzalez. So Paraguay shoving an extra player up now in the last few minutes, because of course a draw is no good to Paraguay. It would leave them on 3 points. They'd be out. They have got to win it, Paraguay. They've got to find a winner in the final 20 minutes to stay in the competition.
They'll do better than that. That is a very poor pass, but you're right, Alan. They've got to be positive. They've got to start taking the game to Brazil. I mean, Brazil were still taking the game to Paraguay when they were down to 10 men. They've got the equaliser, and now it's a change of fortune.
But it still hangs on a knife edge, this game. Brazil have conceded another corner. Aletti thumping it behind.
I think he had to as well. He was under a lot of pressure. Caniza pushing forward.
Imagine the agonies they're going through in Rio and Sao Paulo and all those other famous Brazilian cities at this moment. As the goalkeeper comes a long way and justified his decision. He spilled it, but I think he was fouled. He's got a free kick.
He was. Escobar just clattered him at the last second as he landed. I think he's milking it as well, just to take the sting out of the game. Clever play from Marcos. It's good. This is good for the goalkeeper, coming to claim it, takes the pressure off his defence. Win the free kick.
Well, Paraguay's coach Marcarian came into this competition with a quote saying he wasn't really concerned about his country's results in the Copa America. He was more concerned about certain players consolidating their places for the World Cup bid. I'm not quite sure whether we can believe what he said here, but certainly performance today has frustrated the most famous football team in the world, and this match could still go either way.
Yes, I mean, they're missing Rocky Santa Cruz, the Bayern Munich striker, who's an excellent young prospect, very good talent, and also Benitez, who plays his football at Espanyol. So there is some good talent, some good players, but it's the same for all of the sides, Alan. They've all had weekend sides, including Brazil, but this has been a fascinating game, and I think we're going to see a few more twists and turns before it's over.
18 minutes to go. Cool piece of defending gets Paraguay off the hook. But what they have to do now is think positive. They need a goal, Paraguay. Brazil will be happy with the score as it stands at the moment. A draw sees them go through. Junior, that's a good ball. Oh, well, and a man over on the far post there. He was a little bit selfish, I should say, there, Danielson.
The form he's been in, though, Alan, you can understand it. He's been on, what, 15-20 minutes, and he's just been superb. He's created chances, he's forced fantastic saves from the goalkeeper Tavarelli, and I can see he's on a high at the moment.
Got to have some sympathy with the Peruvian players watching this at the moment. On 4 points, they must have thought that they would finish in the top 2. But as things stand, they won't. They will go through, of course, as one of the third-place teams, because nobody's going to bet 4 points, or at least 2 teams aren't. There are 2 third-place teams who will join the top 2 from each group in the quarter-finals. But Peru, from having a possibility of a top 2 finish, now find themselves clinging on to 3rd place, and therefore a tougher fixture in the last 8. That's of no concern to these 2 at the moment. Just over a quarter of an hour remaining in Cali. Is there to be more drama yet? And don't forget, Group C winds up in the Copa America over the next 24 hours, with Bolivia taking on the magical skills of Paulo Wanchop and Costa Rica. Following that, Honduras play the 14 times champions Uruguay. We'll have both matches live and exclusive. Well, I was wrong about the substitutes. Obviously, there have been so many changes down on that touchline, but Paraguay did have one more man up their sleeves, and that's Robles, the striker who's replaced Ferreira, a man who has 2 goals in the competition already, who might have had a goal when he missed with a header early on in the first half. He's now made way for Robles. The winners of this group, and at the moment that's going to be Brazil, will play the runners-up of Group C, which could be absolutely anybody. That really is another wide-open group. Whereas the runners-up, as things stand, that'll be Mexico, will play Chile in the last 8. Everything else is uncertain and subject to change at any moment, as indeed is this match. Junior for Brazil. He's only given a throw there. That seems
it's definitely a free
hard
kick.
to believe. And that was certainly a free kick for Paraguay on the halfway line. And as I say, the rivalry between Argentina and Brazil is absolutely intense. The Argentine press quick to take the mickey out of Brazil after they lost against Mexico in the first game. Argentina not here, of course, and their newspapers were saying, well, it looks like Brazil didn't turn up either, but at least we told everybody we weren't going. Now, there's a problem again for Brazil on that near post.
Oh, he can't give that
over the clearance.
I think they were appealing for the ball that hit him on the hand, but after the previous one when Junior was booked, they couldn't give it.
Great run again, but Brazil hold out. And a wonderful ball forward. Now then, the referee's got an interesting decision to make here as Denilson hits the deck. Looks back to see what the decision is. It's certainly a free kick.
That's all it is, though. Isn't it strange? I mean, he's definitely taken him out there, and they've been given yellow cards for a lot less than that. But he is a key man, I feel. This is the one that hit him on the hand. There's no way it was on purpose. It was accidental. They were appealing for the penalty kick. There's no doubt about that. And that's off the hand of Chris.
Serraz has got away without a caution for that rather crude tackle. Guilherme trying to lose his marker. Escobar on the near post there. And Ambucano will take the free kick. He's already struck the bar from a similar position. Oh, really a decent effort. Everyone's having pot shots from long range now. Oops. The latest challenge didn't please the referee, and I think it might be a card on the way.
No, it's just a speaking to, a little ticking off. There's a lunge. And Fabio Rochenbach, well, he is going to put Rochenbach. He's only just come on.
Now that's serious for him because he was on a caution from an earlier game, and that yellow card means that he will not be able to play in the quarter-final if Brazil get there. 12 minutes to go. So they've lost a couple of players now, Roque Jr. and Rochenbach. For the next game of the competition, if there's to be one. return ball. And gets a corner. That's
14 or 15 corners.
Yeah, no, anyone who's done a spread bet on corners in this game will be absolutely quits in. If they bought high, the corner count mounts, and most of them have been for Brazil. Nielsen takes it short. Will want the ball back and gets it. That magical goal against Peru the other night. Oh, lovely skill again. Fancies the shot and delivers it. Almost pulled it into that far corner.
What a tournament he's having, Nielsen. He really has got a magical left foot, and he's working the magic now, and it takes a huge deflection for another corner kick, and that'll suit them because it's ticking the clock down a little bit, takes the pressure off their overworked defence in the last 10 or 15 minutes, and I think he'll play another short one.
Came off Gerry.
10 yards.
Shade over 10 minutes on the clock.
Offside.
Well, that's schoolboy stuff, isn't it? It had to be offside.
That is unbelievable.
Well, I've got absolutely nothing against Paraguay or Peru or anybody else, but I ideally hope that Brazil do cling on to this point and go through to the next round. The competition needs them in the last 8.
I agree. I think the competition will be a lot poorer without them. They've got a lot of quality, a lot of skill and technique. I'd love to see Juninho and Nielsen and co in the quarterfinals. That's off the ball. That is off the ball on Belletti, and it's a red card.
It's a red card. We're now up to 14 dismissals, I think, in the first stage of the Copa America. And that was a silly thing to do. His team had a one-man advantage before that. Not now, they don't.
Yeah, Caniza off the ball incident. The referee spotted it. Straight red card, and what's that? 14 red cards now in the competition.
And he still won't go. He could be in even more trouble if he doesn't leave the field. Well, as anyone will tell you, you can't raise your hands on the football field. If you do, you suffer the consequences.
I think there's a bit of obstruction, though, to be fair, from, and you can see the whack coming in from Caniza. It's just stupid. Players get themselves in these situations, they lose control, and the result is a red card.
Well, in the last 10 minutes, with a one-man advantage, Paraguay might have fancied their chances of getting a goal against Brazil, but not now. It's 10 men each, it's 1 goal each, and it's Brazil who stand to go through if the score stays that way. But 1 goal here could dramatically alter the picture.
It's still on a knife's edge.
Paraguay are out unless they score, and if they do score, Brazil are out. Credit to Brazil, they're not exactly sitting back, it's not in their nature. They keep coming forward looking for the goal. Look how many men they've got forward here as well. Belletti steaming down this right-hand side. Here he is. Well, he had his legs taken, didn't he?
That looked a free kick.
Referee's produced an interesting performance tonight. I would imagine he will be the subject of some debate in the Brazilian press tomorrow. Gerry gets it back. And Brazil have presented possession back, but just as quickly Paraguay do the same, and there's another break on for Brazil. 3 defenders, 2 attackers in the picture. Junior on the ball. Well, the Brazilians arriving, albeit a little more slowly on this occasion. Pernambucano. He goes down and gets nothing either. I think that one was an exaggerated reaction. But the early one, for me, should have been a free kick. Referee's just waving everything aside now. I don't know if he'll wave that one aside. Clattering challenge.
He was prepared to take ball, man, and everything in sight. but you can actually feel the tension now in both sets of players. Paraguay desperate to get forward to get a winning goal, and Brazil desperate to hang on to what they've got.
Here's Gonzalez. He's possessed. Valletti knocks it long. Brazil, who've appeared in the last 3 finals of this competition, know that if they concede a goal now, they might not even be getting to the second stage of this year's Copa America. But equally, if they can hold on for another, 6 minutes, they're through, and Paraguay are out. Valletti for Brazil. Do they waste time now? Do they still look for a winning goal? Well, they've given the ball away. Valletti wins it back and wins the throw. And over the game, you have to say, Gerry, Brazil deserved to either win the game or certainly win the qualifying place.
I think so. I think they've had twice as many chances and shots at goal as Paraguay. Played a little bit negative, Paraguay, particularly when they were down to 10 men. Brazil, you'd have thought Paraguay would have looked to kill the game off, but not so.
The referee's the ball's in play, and he suddenly decided. I mean, that is unbelievable. Surely he's got to wait for the ball to go out of play if he wants to have a go at the Brazilian coach. Now we're going to have a drop ball because the referee decides he wants to exert his authority. That is ridiculous.
That was Scolari's presence.
Well, surely he should leave that kind of thing to his 4th official and concentrate on the game. I'm too impressed with Senor Sanchez tonight. Now then, Brazil, who have impressed, come forward into the last 5 minutes. 1-1. That will be enough to get them into the quarter-finals. Indeed, it'll be enough for them to win this group against all odds.
He's done well to Nielsen. He lost possession, trying to take 2 men on. As soon as he lost possession, he went straight after the ball, put a lot of pressure on Gerry, and won the ball back again, which is super play from him.
Nielsen sloppy.
I think he's had a poor game for me, Gerry. He's not held the ball up well up front. He's not put himself about enough, and I've been disappointed with Gerry.
Well, it's nail-biting time for everyone in Brazil at this moment, into the last few minutes, and still going forward, still looking for the goal that would absolutely confirm their qualification for the quarter-finals, but still knowing that if Paraguay score, they'd probably go out. Would there be enough time for Brazil to come back again if they concede now? Ringo with a long ball forward, and the substitute Gonzalez miscontrolled it.
But you know, before he came on the park, Gonzalez was 6'1", and since he had the bandage put on, he looks about 6'4". His first touch certainly let him down there.
Catch on. The clock ticks on. 3 minutes remaining, plus whatever stoppage time the referee decides to add. The Nielsen. Magic. Gerry got back to dispossess him, but what a bit of skill, just dragging the ball back there.
He loves those situations, one-on-one with Escobar and the drag back, and what a talented player he is.
Now Brazil have got to drag men back into their own half, as the director shows us that lovely bit of skill again. Defender heading for the exit then. Time against Paraguay now. However, Gonzalez is suddenly onside. He didn't realise. They all looked over to the linesman, and the flag stayed down, and he could have been the hero there.
His first touch was terrible. There was 2 of them in a great position. First touch is good. Well, it would have been 2-1, I think. What are they playing out of the back, Brazil?
Well, when you think, despite all the efforts Brazil have had, a couple against the crossbar, we had that occasion in the first half and Pereira might have scored to make it 2-0. There was that moment when Gonzalez might have made it 2-1. They've certainly lived dangerously, Brazil.
They're playing 2-on-2 at the back. I can't believe they haven't pulled Juan back and told him to play in behind as a sweeper. 2 balls on the park again.
The referee surely had to stop play there. There was another football on, but he didn't. And Gerry knocks it forward, not very accurately. Has the ball in his hands, indicates to Balletti to slow it down, because now we are moving into the final minute, and suddenly they've got a break on themselves here, Brazil. Lovely little ball, that's it! Brazil are through, no more worries now, they've made it, and the wing-back Balletti got forward, took a risk, the risk has paid off, Brazil celebrate, and the greatest team in the world are through to the quarterfinals of the Copa America.
What a fantastic goal, what a great piece of play from Danielson, and what a way to get your first goal for your country. Balletti, who's been outstanding in the competition, had the energy to pop up in the 6-yard box and get on the end of the cross from Danielson. Superb piece of play, it really is. Sticks it across the 6-yard box, left foot, he puts it underneath the goalkeeper, Parry, and that has wrapped it up, Alan. And I think it's been just as well. The result deserves to go Brazil's way.
No arguments now. There won't be time for Paraguay to come back from that. Brazil lead in the match. 3 minutes of stoppage time. Brazil lead the group. They will now go through to the quarterfinal as champions of Group B, ironically. And Mexico will finish as runners-up. Peru forced down into 3rd place, though with 4 points, they too will qualify as one of the best placed 3rd finishing teams.
Well, an interesting test of character, I think, tonight. Very significant for me. Brazil, with the pressure they've been under, going a goal down, having the bottle to stay and stick at it and get back into the game. Down to 10 men as well, we've got to say, and then to go on and win it. And that is a truly remarkable performance.
We're getting the Brazilian party pieces now that they know everything is safe. Ole, they weren't saying that a few minutes ago, as Junior drops his shoulder, pulls one back. Paraguay are demoralised now, beaten and out of it. So Brazil will play the runners-up of Group C, which literally could be anybody. Uruguay, Costa Rica, still very much involved there. Honduras and Bolivia, the other teams in that group, which is completed over the next 24 hours or so. And it means that Mexico will play Chile, if I've got my permutations correctly worked out, in the quarterfinal. That much is certain. And here's the man who's made it certain for Brazil, Balletti. And justice has been done here in Cali tonight, at least from Brazil's point of view. And there's a good ball by Gerry, one of the few he's played today as it happens. And the whistle's gone. It'll be a free kick to Paraguay. Too little, too late for them.
I still think, Alan, the team, they've all got to beat Colombia, especially with home advantage. They look a very, very good outfit, have the best defensive record in the competition so far, having played 3 games and not conceded a goal. And obviously sitting with 9 points, that's maximum 9 points. So they're the team I think they've got to beat.
Gonzalez fails to keep the ball. What a wonderful chance he had to win it for Paraguay. Balletti has won it for Brazil. And the referee has glanced at his watch. We are seconds away from the final whistle here in Cali, and Brazil are on the march again. Oh, it's deflected in, would you believe it? Danielson in stoppage time has made it 3-1. A heavy deflection off the defender, but does he care? No, he doesn't.
His confidence is sky high, it really is. He was looking to put it in the far corner. He checked back from the right-hand side on his left foot. There's little Janino give him a hug, but took a huge deflection, as you said. And you make your own luck, Alan, in football, and he has been sensational since he came on, and in the last game also.
The goalkeeper hopelessly beaten by the deflection. He gone one way, the ball went the other. Good night, Paraguay. And that's it. It's all over in Cali. Brazil have beaten Paraguay by 3-1. They go through to the quarterfinals. There's a smile back on the face of Brazilian football again.
Wow. I hope you enjoyed that one as much as we did here. Brazil go through then. 3-1 winners over Parry.